Lisa Rapado. Good morning and welcome everybody. As you know already, my name's Lisa, and some of you may be wondering why I chose this venue. Out of all the venues I could have chosen, why did I choose this one? One of the reasons is because my roots are here, my family are from here, literally up the road a few streets. And the other reason I will come back to later. But before I go any further, I'm just going to give you all a little bit of my story and how I even ended up in politics in the first place. That probably goes back as far as the miners' strike. If I'm really honest, my father was a miner and I can remember the strike quite well. And that shaped me into becoming a union person when I went to work in a factory. So I've got a trade unionist background, and once I was made redundant, one of the things I ended up doing to try and not be made redundant again ever was coming to this little place here, because this little place is also part of Swansea University. Hiya, Laurie.
Mr. Stunt.
It's okay, welcome. Do you want to have 5 minutes of coffee?
No,
No, you okay?
the chair would give me a nice sleep.
Right. And I think this place actually sums up what people can do when they are faced with adversity. And we are faced with adversity right now. Climate change, as Natalie mentioned, is one of the biggest things that should actually be uniting people. And Wales could do far better than we are at this point in time. But we're not going to do any better unless us Greens get in the Senate, because most of the people that have been in there up until now haven't really had climate change at the top of their agenda. And despite Labour saying that they have at the heart people and vulnerable people at their heart, they haven't, because the other thing that's a big thing in my life is autism, because both my children are autistic, and one of the things I cannot forgive Welsh Labour for is abstaining when it came up that we were trying to persuade them to put an Autism Act in for Wales, and over 24 of them abstained on the vote. We could have actually been shaping the Act now had they voted in favour for it. I know at the time the Act itself wasn't fully drawn up, but that's something you do as you go along. You have to take a decision to want to do something before it's done. And I know that the cuts that Natalie's mentioned are hitting the community that's a big part of my life really hard. It's causing a lot of worries, and that's one of the reasons why I've always been very active in fighting for people, is because my children have autism, and a lot of my friends' children also have autism and other disabilities, and it's really tough trying to get your child educated if they have special needs of any kind. Can be an absolute nightmare. You have to learn a whole new language. And that's kind of where I'm coming from as a person. I don't like to see people left behind. And we had got to a point where things were starting to improve, and then suddenly austerity came. Oh, here we go, see, improving. Thank you. And now, just throw me in. Excuse me. Right, where are we?
Autism.
Thank you. Yes, autism. And sticking up for people generally, because there are many people that are coming to my mind now. The other thing they failed on in Wales was one of our autism community children was shipped over 500 miles away to a unit in Brighton, you know, because there's no services within Wales that were deemed suitable for her. She spent over 8 weeks there, despite the family and her saying that she didn't want to go there. this girl was shipped off. The parents had gone to the High Court in London. You know, they fought it every step of the way. And this girl, Claire, she was shipped off to Banwen, and there was nothing they could do about it because they detained her under the Mental Health Act. And there are so many stories of people who have autism being detained under the Mental Health Act, and they're shipped all over the country, out of their communities, and left behind, basically. So that prompted me to start a campaign and go up to the Senate, and that's where the Autism Act was kind of born, or the wish to have an Autism Act was born. And that's driven me forward all the time, really, to raise awareness about it, get it on the agenda. And right now, the Wales Green Party is in support of that act, and I'm so glad to be able to say that. It means so much to me. And the other surprising party that's actually in favour of it within Wales, that I know of so far, are the Conservatives. The Welsh Conservatives. When that vote took place, they actually voted for it. All the ones that were in the Senate could see the sense behind having the act, which was quite astounding. And this is pretty much why I've ended up in the Green Party, because I believe we are able to do the right things, but we need the political will to do it. And I think it's only us who have it. Quite often we're ridiculed as, oh, you're the perfectionists, you want everything to be right. Yes, we do, because we want the world to work for everyone. And I think we're probably the only realists that are willing to look at climate change and go, yes, this is a problem. We need to do something about it. And that's where our political, our will to do the right thing is coming from. And I just don't trust anyone else to do it. We are the only people that will make sure that everybody is actually catered for in this country. When it comes to businesses, I've seen so many small business people saying how there's not enough backing from the Welsh Government. Just this week there was a conversation going ahead on Facebook, Meath Voice for Everyone, and there's this new thing called BID. Well, a lot of the traders in Meath are up in arms about it because they're just seeing it as another local tax that they'd have to pay on top of their business rates. And apparently they didn't vote for it, and there's lots of unrest about it. And I really feel for those traders because they're now going to have to pay more, and it doesn't seem to matter whether they've engaged in the process or not. One of the other big threats to our area, Natalie touched upon it, is fracking. There are 3 places within our South Wales West region that have already been approved to have borehole. One of them's in Pontrhyfen, which is just on the road. The other one's in Merthyr, which is in Bridgend. Or is it Ogmore? Which one is it, Laurie? Ogmore, yeah. And the other one's in Llangyfelach, which is in Swansea.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a massive, the threat is real, it's very, very real. It would be anyway, because we're an ex-mining valley area, and that brings me to, funnily enough, the other reason why I'm here. Yesterday was St. Patrick's Day. Now St. Patrick, he wasn't always St. Patrick, he was actually born, they think, somewhere around this area, in this little place here. And he was kidnapped by the Romans and taken off to Ireland. And I think he's quite an inspirational character because he took Christianity over to Ireland. And in many ways, I think our job can sometimes be as big as his must have been, to get the message past the people, because we can say it all we want, and in this room everybody understands where we're coming from. We're all Greens, We're a nice, easy audience. I can see lots of nodding, but there are people out there who really don't want to hear our message. And that's where St. Patrick is my inspiration for that, because I just think he must have had such a job getting people to see his way of thinking. And like I said earlier, we are poo-pooed as tree huggers, or sandal wearers, and all that kind of thing. And I just think, what? No, we are far more than that. And actually, our ideas are the most sensible ideas because they're long-term. They're not changing with the wind like everybody else's. They're long-term ideas and they're long-term solutions. And I would like to see us adopting far more renewable energy, getting it to communities. Because the big six have got this stranglehold on us all, and the fuel poverty. I know you mentioned that the costs aren't high necessarily, but they are if you haven't got the money, and that's the bottom line. With the benefit cuts that are coming, I know the pensioners are sometimes shielded from it with a £300 fuel allowance. And if you're on income support, you can get a £25 cold weather payment. But there are people on less money maybe, who don't even qualify for these payments, and they are freezing, and they are hungry, and we're the 6th or 7th wealthiest nation in the world. It's not right, and that's why I'm standing here before you really, because I've had enough of them doing the wrong things, and I want to drive them to do the right things. And by getting people to see the green message as not just good for the planet, but is actually good for them. Like, it can reduce their fuel bills if they're living in an insulated house. Why aren't we? We've got the technology in Bridgend, they've proved it in Salsa House, that we can actually build an affordable house with existing technology in the main that is zero carbon. So why aren't we doing it? Why, we've got the solutions, we're just not doing them because there's not enough profit in it usually. And on that note, I'm going to be quiet now. Thank you all very much.